Welcome back to another salvage auction analysis, and this car that we're going to be looking at today is a very interesting car to me because I don't know a lot about these. You don't see them come up at auction or really just available in general in the United States. You know, they're prevalent in Canada, they're prevalent in Japan, but having one in this country, a Nissan GT-R, even though this one isn't an actual GT-R, this one's a GTT. I'm guessing that Copart's classification, they just don't have an option to call it anything besides a GT-R. So we already know that right off the bat, but these cars, again, I'm not super educated on, and I'm looking forward to you guys telling me as much as you can down in the comments, and then we're gonna see what this thing sells for today. This one is up in Somerville, New Jersey, which is a lot that I have been to. It's relatively close to New York City. You usually see a lot of higher end stuff at this lot because you get a lot of the New York City money that, you know, high end supercars, you know, kind of rare, just, you know, more normal cars, but this is not a cheap car to get in the country. One thing that is interesting to me is that it has some sort of Virginia title on it. As we dive into the pictures here, you can see the car itself looks to be in pretty good condition, even though it's listed as having 300,000 miles, which I'm assuming is actually kilometers, but the car itself looks to be in very, very good shape. I don't know how hard it is to find one of these cars in this condition because they're pretty old at this point. Oh man, looking inside, it is an automatic transmission, which is a big negative in my mind from the driving position, but maybe the automatics in these cars aren't half bad. Gauge cluster there, you can see it's actually warmed up the temperature and everything. Here's the engine bay shot, and honestly, it doesn't look like a 300,000 mile engine bay. Looks pretty clean overall. I don't see any, you know, spots of rust. I know some of these Nissans have issues with the shock towers, but really not too bad overall. Now, this is running in just a minute here, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about it because honestly, I don't know a bunch about it. That's why I want you guys to let me know down in the comments what you see in the pictures, and then let's go ahead, see what this thing sells for, and you can tell me your opinion on the price for it. Let's see what happens here. I love that you have a car that's in this country that normally isn't in this country, and then there's out of this country bidders that are going to take it back out potentially, that first bid being from Mexico. But not surprised at all that this thing is going to get a lot of action, and I'm really curious just essentially how much it can go for, being that these are becoming more readily available, but this year is still not legal in the US based on my understanding. So this one just essentially being available to people might just make people go crazy on it, which you wouldn't think, but this thing has steady action. And this car is on approval, which is different than it having a reserve. So there's probably a good chance that we're not going to see it, you know, come off reserve. You know, the seller releases the minimum bid because it's on approval. This is probably going to show as not an actual sale until the seller looks at it, which is going to be a little bit disappointing because I would just love to see if whatever this ends at, if it actually sells for that. Crossing the $20,000 mark.
Bonus time.
That's a pretty clean number. That might have been, you know, what everyone was looking to stop at was 20. Florida just happened to be the last bid at it.
Sold on approval.
There you go, $20,000. Again, just a nice, clean number. But I need you guys to talk to me down in the comments. This is not a car that I am just well versed on. I don't know a lot about the import process and everything like that. There are plenty of people that follow our channel that know a whole lot more about it. I want to know what your opinions on it are. Is that car being difficult to get into this country is that $20,000 number, even if maybe the car isn't worth it. Just the fact that it's here, it has some sort of Virginia title for it. Is that enough to justify the price, and is buying it through Copart maybe the more safe means as opposed to, you know, through Marketplace, something along those lines. So I'm very curious to hear what some of the viewers on the channel's opinion on this one is, just because it's very foreign to me. Normally, I'm the one relaying information. On this video, I'm going to be receiving a lot of information, and I think this is going to be a cool one for you guys to educate me on. So definitely reach out down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the GT-R that just sold at Copart Salvage Auction. This is really the first salvage auction analysis I've been able to do in a couple weeks. Normally at the beginning of the year, the auction scene's a little bit stale. Like I told you guys in one of the last videos, the end of the year, normally insurance companies kind of pile on a lot of cars. So the first couple weeks of the year, it gets just kind of quiet, and there's not usually a ton to buy or a ton of interest that we can do a salvage auction analysis on. So I'm glad to do another one. We're gonna have plenty more coming down the pipeline, as well as plenty of other videos on both the Scrap Life Dog channel and the main Scrap Life Garage channel. So I'll see you in the next video.